Assalamu alaikum. This is Mohammad Singh welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman meets Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing. Beijing proposed to build economic corridor from Bangladesh to China via Myanmar. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman pays tribute to Chinese heroes, laying wreath at the Tiananmen Square, visits History and Heritage Museum of Chinese Communist Party. Families of disappeared persons to be brought under allowance like freedom fighters and July warriors, says LGRD Minister. Initiatives taken to build 200-bed modern drug addiction treatment and rehabilitation centers in 7 divisional cities, including Chattogram, informs Home Minister. Consumers relieved as prices of daily commodities decrease in Chattogram markets. Holy Ashura today, various programs commemorating tragic events of Karbala held in Muslim world. Death toll in 2 Venezuelan earthquakes rises to 589. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman expresses profound condolence. Viewers, those were the top stories. Now moving on to the details. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman held a historic meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The meeting was held at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing today. The two leaders discussed a wide range of issues related to Bangladesh-China relations, including trade, investment, infrastructure, connectivity, and other areas of mutual interest. China has proposed the development of economic corridor connecting Bangladesh, Myanmar, and China to enhance regional connectivity, trade, and economic cooperation. The proposal came during talks between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Tariq Rahman at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. Prime Minister's advisor and spokesperson Mahathir Amin said this while briefing reporters after the meeting. He said the two leaders held detailed discussions on connectivity. During the briefing, Prime Minister's Foreign Affairs Advisor Humayun Kabir said Prime Minister Tariq Rahman held a rare one-on-one meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. He described the meeting as unprecedented. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman today paid tributes at the monument to the people's heroes at the Tiananmen Square in Beijing by placing a special red-green wreath. While placing the wreath, the national anthems of the two countries were played. A bugle sounded the salute of homage. After laying the wreath at the monument, the Prime Minister stood in solemn silence for some time as a mark of profound respect to the memory of the Chinese revolutionary heroes. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman, wife Dr. Zubaida Rahman, Foreign Minister Dr. Khalil Rahman, Information and Broadcasting Minister Jahiruddin Shapon, Water Resources Minister Shahidin Chaudhry Ani, Prime Minister's Advisor Rashid Al Mahmoud Titumir, Humayun Kabir and Mahathir Amin, and Additional Press Secretary Atikur Rahman Ruman were present on the occasion. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman today visited the Museum of the Communist Party of China (CPC), which houses permanent and comprehensive exhibitions of the party's history in Beijing. Upon his arrival, the museum's curator received the Prime Minister and escorted him on a guided tour of the museum. Accompanied by his wife Dr. Zubaida Rahman and other members of his entourage, the Premier went round the museum's galleries and experienced an immersive audiovisual coaster show. At the conclusion of the visit, the Prime Minister signed the visitor's book. There has long been a demand of compensation and rehabilitation for victims of torture under a legal framework alongside ensuring justice for them. The demand was once again strongly reiterated at the national dialogue held in the capital on the occasion of the International Day in support of victims of torture. The event was presided over Deputy Speaker Kaisar Kamal and attended by local government, rural development and cooperatives Minister Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir as the chief guest. In addition to invited guests, human rights activists, lawyers, members of parliament and family members of victims emphasized the need for the state to play a more effective role in preventing state-sponsored enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings. Home Minister Salahuddin Ahmed announced that more than 200-bed drug addiction treatment and rehabilitation centers are being constructed in 7 divisional cities across the country. He made the remarks today at a discussion meeting and award distribution ceremony organized at the Osmani Memorial Auditorium to mark the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking 2026. Advisor to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Dr. Jahidur Rahman, Senior Secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs Munjir Murshid Chaudhary, Director General of the Department of Narcotics Control Mohammad Hassan Maruf and the heads of various law enforcement agencies, among others, were present on the occasion. Referring to the government's zero-tolerance policy against terrorism and online gambling, the Home Minister said the number of beds at drug addiction treatment and rehabilitation centers in the divisional cities has been increased to ensure treatment through both government and private rehabilitation facilities. He further said regular cases are being filed and judicial proceedings conducted against drug traffickers and other offenders. He added that initiatives have been taken to modernize the existing Narcotics Control Act to ensure legal action against those involved in drug-related crimes. A State Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Yasir Khan Chaudhary, said the government will work with all stakeholders to ensure cyber security. He made the remark today at the Cyber Security Convergence Summit at the Bangladesh-China Friendship Conference Center in the capital. The 5-day summit is being organized by the Team Phoenix Group with the support of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and the National Cybersecurity Agency. The summit has brought together government policymakers, industry leaders, academic representatives, cybersecurity experts and technology researchers with the aim of strengthening Bangladesh cybersecurity capabilities and digital resilience. Members of cybersecurity clubs from various universities are also participating in the event. Participants are receiving hands-on training in cyber investigation, DevSecOps, application security, vulnerability management, and ransomware prevention through a series of workshops. The Holy Ashura, commemorating the martyrdom of Hazrat Imam Hussain Radiallahu Anhu, is being observed in the country today with due religious fervor and solemnity. Ashura, the 10th of Muharram in the Islamic calendar, commemorates the date in the Hijri year of 61 when Hazrat Imam, the grandson of Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, along with his family members and 72 followers, embraced the martyrdom in the hands of Yazid soldiers at the desert of Karbala to uphold the teachings of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In remembrance of the great sacrifice, Muslims are observing the day through voluntary fasting, prayers, charity, and remembrance of Allah. The day is a public holiday. Different religious organizations have chalked out various programs on the occasion. Members of the Shia community are observing the day with the Jia processions and other mourning programs. The tragedy of Karbala continues to inspire people around the world to stand firmly for truth and justice. People are encouraged to uphold the ideals of Ashura and remain committed to building a peaceful and prosperous society. The customers feel a great relief in purchasing all types of daily commodities in the retail market of Chattogram, as the prices of almost all grocery products, including green vegetables, have decreased. The prices of broiler chicken and eggs are within the purchasing capacity of the common buyers, as the price of these items have decreased. However, the same products are being sold at different prices regardless of the market due to the lack of market monitoring in Chattogram city. Some vegetables are being sold at a price of 20 taka per kg, while the prices of good quality vegetables are a little bit higher. Although it is the post-Qurbani period, the price of beef is almost the same as before. There is a big difference in the price of fish in different markets in Chattogram city. Ginger and garlic are sold at 120 taka per kg in the retail market. The price of local garlic is 80 taka per kg. The prices of spices, sugar, and flour have decreased. However, consumers emphasized market monitoring to keep the prices of daily commodities under control. Now, international news. The number of people killed in 2 Venezuelan earthquakes rises to 589, with 2,980 injured. Acting Venezuelan President Delcy Rodriguez said this as international rescue teams joined the search for survivors. 80 Swiss rescuers and a team of Mexican aid workers are among those conducting the rescue works. Local teams searched through the night in collapsed buildings in Venezuela capital Caracas and the state of La Guaira, with people hard calling for help from under the debris. Earlier, a woman was pulled alive from rubble. A doctor in La Guaira told the news agencies that the 2 main hospitals in the state are completely overwhelmed with a critical lack of medical supplies. The quakes with magnitudes of 7.2 and 7.5 hit a minute apart of Wednesday night, and the second was the strongest to hit Venezuela since 1900. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Tariq Rahman has expressed deep shock and sorrow over the huge loss of life and extensive damage caused by the devastating earthquake in Venezuela. In a condolence message, the Prime Minister expressed deep condolences to the families of the deceased and pledged to stand by those who have lost their loved ones. At the same time, he wished a speedy recovery to all those injured. Iranian Foreign Ministry slammed U.S. GCC statement saying that U.S. military presence in the region contributed to insecurity. Hezbollah chief Naim Qassem said, Israel is in Lebanon not because of its missiles, but because it wants to swallow it up and occupy it. U.S.-mediated talks between Israel and Lebanon that were slated to end last night will go on for another day, resuming in Washington later today. Rafael Grossi, head of the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency, said the agency has been tasked with inspecting Iran's nuclear site as part of the US-Iran deal.